this is Zoe Globin with the Lalo Community Media Center, and today we'll be interviewing
Lindsey.
So, Lindsey, what brings you here today?
It is the opening day of the Hawaii State Legislature, and I'm here to see our government in action.
Is there any other special reason why you chose to came here?
Well, my understanding is that one of the foci of the legislative session is affordable housing, and that is something that's really important to me. So I came to support the legislature and hope that we can really make some progress.
I support your supporting for the legislator as well. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Zoe. You too.
Hi, I'm Annabelle with Alelo Community Media, and today I'm with Andria Tupola. Why are you at the legislature today?
Well, I came today to support KAIMUKÍ at the Capitol. KAIMUKÍ at the Capitol is a wonderful program where they involve all the students across the state who want to come learn how to pound kalo and then as well interact with one another and hear messages from some of our community leaders.
That's so cool. What would you like the legislature to accomplish this section?
Well, I'm a big community person, and I think that if there could be more chances for community voices to be incorporated into the bill-making process, that would be my biggest hope, is to actually discuss bills that are helpful to the people and not hurtful, so that more people want to get engaged in the legislative process.
What were some of your experiences running for governor?
Running for governor was awesome. I got to interact with hundreds of thousands of people, and I also got to give hope to the next generation of kids that are coming up and looking to find role models and leaders. And so I think I would definitely do it again. I'm going to do it again in 4 years, but I think I really want to ignite and inspire the youth of our state to want to be a part of creating a better Hawaii.
Do you have any advice for the youth of Hawaii?
Yes, I would say, please stay engaged with what we're doing. I have Instagram, I have social media, and I'm definitely putting out education every day about leadership, about legislative processes. So I'm hoping to be a mentor to whatever youth want to participate and become a part of building this vision of what we need for our state so that more local families can stay here for generations to come.
Thank you so much. That's all the questions I have.
Aloha, this is Zoe Globin with Alelo KAIMUKÍ Media Center, and today I will be interviewing Representative Jean Ward. So, what do you do as a representative?
That is a good question, because a lot of people don't know what a representative does other than sort of wave on the highway and put out newsletters. We are basically in charge of governing the state of Hawaii. And what does governing be? Who's the governor of your house? Who makes things run on time or go to bed and the house gets clean and the food gets cooked and you get to and fro? The transportation? Your mother or your father?
My mom, she does all the cooking and laundry, but my dad, he takes my brothers to school, but my mom usually does most of the things.
Okay, so right here, we kind of govern the same way families govern, except on a large scale. We have 1.5 million people, and we have about 3,000 miles before we get to about 2,500 before we get to any other part of land. So transportation is important. We do the funding and the management, basically, of a lot of the functions that make life livable in Hawaii. The health, the well-being, the economy, the visitor industry, and we have a big military industry. So basically, we're kind of, I guess you would say, shepherds of keeping the people of Hawaii healthy, happy, and hopefully safe. And I don't know if you want to talk about the scare that everyone had a near-death experience a year ago on January 13. Where were you when 38 minutes were ticking off? Oh, no, you're interviewing me. Go ahead.
Yeah, do you want to talk about it a little?
Well, because it's our first-year anniversary, it was something that no other place has ever experienced the way that we experienced for those 38 minutes when, I think about 8:00 something in the morning on January 13, 2018, everybody thought the world was coming to an end because there was a missile that was said to be on its way here. Everybody believed that, except fortunately for the first 8 minutes I was panicking. I thought, well, that idiot Kim Jong-un actually pushed the button. I mean, everybody said he was a bit unstable. But then I thought, well, look, I know a few generals who are in that Hawaii emergency bunker in Diamond Head. So I called them up and said, no, it's a false alarm. So I only had an 8-minute scare. Most people had a 38-minute scare. But the point is, it's something that we should not ever happen again. It's something the state shouldn't be doing. It's something the federal government should be doing. And that's the position I have. At the same time, I have written to President Trump asking him for a second summit to be here in Hawaii. There's no better place than on American soil to do the second summit. The first summit was in Singapore. The second summit should be here. And I'm a graduate of the East West Center, one of the primary diplomatic institutions in the world. So we could do very well to keep peace in the Pacific by bringing President Trump here and Kim Jong-un of North Korea.
Yes, I did hear about the missile and the missile alert, and it went on to my mom and dad's phone, like on the front screen, you know, like
What did
sometimes.
you guys do?
Me and my brother, he's now 8, so last year he was 7. He started freaking out. He's like, the world is coming to an end. We need to build a bunker now. I'm like,
Oh,
but
build the bunker. You got 20 minutes before it's all over.
yeah, I'm like, but what if it's real? Then you don't have time. So he like got so scared, and then when there were almost every Fridays at I live near Kahala, near Kahala Resort. So almost every Fridays they set fireworks, and so after the Friday that they that the missile alert came, we heard the fireworks. My brother, he's like, the world is coming to an end, hide!
Second time round.
He got so scared.
But you know we have to count our blessings. Good thing it was on a Saturday. It was on Friday, and I know how much your mother loves you and all the other children. They would have got in their car and gone to the school. And you know what the traffic and all the chaos that would have been. So fortunately, the alert was on a Saturday when generally the traffic was less and kids were not in school because there's 274,000 public school kids that are every day on the highway. Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't have any other
What do you think of the
questions.
Capitol?
The Capitol, I think it's very nice.
It's it's shaped like an island. We have
It
water
is.
around at the bottom. If you see the fountains, and we've got pillars, and then we have a big opening in the middle, and that's to
Yeah.
equate as a volcano. So we are kind of a mountain, and with a volcano coming up the top.
I didn't know that, actually.
Well, it's good because when most kids are young, they don't know all the things at the Capitol. They don't come to the Capitol. You guys are fortunate, and you guys are interviewing. You're kind of getting an inside look when you sit with the representatives and you find out, hey, they're people just like us, not just the ones that you see them on TV or hear them on the radio. And we're just like everybody else. The only thing is we have the responsibility to make sure that things run properly and that you're safe, that your economy, your food, and all the other things are in order. And we got some problems. We're first in astronomy, but we're first also in the highest taxes. We're first in the country with bad roads, but we're also the highest taxed. And with so many things that we need to do, we just never have the money to do it. And it's just like your parents, there's always another dress or something that you want that you just can't have immediately, so we have to plan our way out.
That's happened many times at the stores.
Yeah, when you ask and you get refused as it goes?
Yeah, so once I asked for a puppy because we saw a puppy and I love puppies. My parents were like, no, who's going to take care of the puppy? I was like, I will. My dad's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. But my mom, when she knows I'm lying, she gives me this harsh look. She looks at me directly in the eyes and she's like, are you sure? That's what she does to me and my siblings.
And what do? You cower or you stand up direct and say?
I look back to her in the eyes, and it makes me smile, so she knows I'm lying. And then
That's a good.
yeah,
If I smile, she knows I'm lying. That's good. Sometimes when you're, like in this building, if you smile and you say stuff nicely, you can almost say anything. So when you're smiling, it's a good sign that you're communicating directly with them, but your mother knows you're lying when you smile. You're smiling now. You're going to lie to me.
Oh, no, I'm not lying.
Oh, okay.
No, it's
checking.
just for the camera, smiling.
Okay. You think any of this will get on TV? We've been talking a long time already. It's more than 5 minutes, you said.
Yes, I think it will be on TV.
Are you the editor also? That's a tough job, being the editor.
Maybe.
Well, I want to say I'm really glad you guys stopped into my office. I represent the people of Hawaii Kai, and I work for the people. I'm the go-between them and the government and the people. And I really enjoy doing that, and I enjoy you guys who are at a young age. Most people never even get close to a camera or having a microphone. So you guys are really getting advanced Olelo training. And thank you, Olelo, for what you guys do. You're good teachers and good mentors. And I hope you get an A for this project or whatever you're doing. So you remember you went to Representative Ward's place. We talked to him, and he said, promise me you'll get an A. And then I got another ask from you. Promise me you'll go to college.
I think I really want to become a photographer or an artist.
Oh, wow, right down the vein of what Olelo's doing. That is terrific. That's a compliment to Olelo. That is great, young lady. Thank you for the interview.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Representative
It's been my
Ward.
pleasure. Thank you and aloha.
Hi, I am Justina Kinsey representing Olelo Community Media Center. I am here interviewing. Can you please introduce yourself?
Pulani, go.
Hi, Pulani. So, I was wondering what brought you here today?
Family invited me over and to come and see what was going on.
Cool. So, how did you hear about this event?
Actually, I just found out about it today, and a few aunties that usually come to all the events were here, so came to see them too.
Cool. So, have you been enjoying it so far?
Yeah, it's good to see a lot of young, youths getting into the poi and learning how to make their own poi.
Have you done the poi here today? The
Yeah.
pounding poi?
Yeah, yes, I did.
Cool. Okay, so that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Andy Yee. I'm from KAIMUKÍ High School representing Olelo, and today I am with Representative Say.
Good afternoon, Andy, and thank you very much. KAIMUKÍ High School. You're known as the KAIMUKÍ High School Bulldogs. But I went to, guess where? Palolo Elementary. We're called the Pups. Palolo Pups.
Well, that's good to know. So,
Yes.
sir,
Don't call me sir. Just call me Calvin.
okay, yes, Calvin. So this term, what committee are you on?
I am 3 different committees, the Committee on Health, the Committee on Human Services, and the Committee on Judiciary. So those 3 committees are very large committees as far as their budget and also the issues. For the Health Committee, we'll be dealing with cancer, we'll be dealing with drugs abuse, we could be dealing with the homeless. Health and Human Services, we'll be dealing with public housing also, which we have Pololo housing. But other major topics will be medical marijuana, recreational marijuana, and all the topics dealing with health. Within the health department, we've got 3 different divisions. The environmental division, that's where we try to address wastewater. You know what wastewater is?
Yes, for what I know, wastewater is the stuff from the sewers, yeah?
Correct. And that's where we're trying to prevent the environment from becoming polluted. And for all of you, we had to do a major cleanup at KAIMUKÍ High School, the KAIMUKÍ stream. And did you know about the invasive species that occurred? Those fishes, they call it, with iron head or lead head or whatever. They're invasive species, right? And that's the kind of issues Representative Say will be addressing. And then for the judiciary, we'll be addressing the court systems, what is happening in regards to spouse abuse, child abuse, all of this, which makes it very exciting for me.
Okay. So, is there any reforms that you want to address, or?
Well, one of the major reforms that I'm trying to investigate and analyze is how can I address cyber bullying, how people bully each other. In the old days, the bullying was all physical. I didn't realize today it's on the internet and the cell phones and iPhones. And you know what I used to do because coming from Palolo Valley, I used to always outthink the bullies that were coming to see me. I'll give you a good example. As a fifth-year-old at Palolo Elementary, the bullies from Palolo Housing, and they're all great guys, don't get me wrong. Hey, Calvin, you get quarter? Before they asked me that, I said, hey, Alfredo, you get quarter I can borrow for lunch? Then they don't ask me about the quarter. You see? And that's what I enjoyed. I know a lot of the families in Palolo who have since moved out. And I'm very proud to share with you that Palolo had most of the top entertainers. Have you heard of Ka'au Crater Boys? Ernie and Troy Fernandez, Cruz. Have you heard of John Osario, who lives up Carlos Long? Ben Vegas and Malia. It's another Palolo boy. But we had the Cruz brothers. We had David Dunaway, which is, what group is that?
No clue, sir.
What's the name of the group, Dave Dunaway's group before? David had a group that was made up of Palolo kids, and I forget the name of the group also, but David Dunaway was an entertainer with Opihi Man, if you know that song. But many, many great entertainers that we have in Palolo Valley. And finally, I grew up with the Kamakavevaoles. People don't remember that. There was Brother Skippy, who was the oldest brother and son of Mr. and Mrs. Kamakavevaole on 9th and Kalua. After Skippy, as the oldest son, the next was the daughter, Lydia. And Lydia is the daughter that married Mlu Kaukahi of the Makaha sons of Niihau. After Lydia, Hanabata boy, we used to call him in the old days. Hanabata boy was Brother Is. And finally, a baby daughter, which we used to call Baby. So that's how Uncle Calvin, Representative Say, is throughout my years in the 50s and 60s growing up.
Okay.
Come on, Andy. Any other questions?
Yeah, at the beginning, what made you want to run for office?
I probably ran for office because I wanted to represent the generation that, are considered the tail end of the baby boomers. And I'm just very privileged to represent the residents of Palolo Valley since I live in Palolo Valley. But then I also had to represent St. Louis Heights and Wilhelmina Rise, Malilani Heights. So you could see the diversity of the population of the district I represented, from the low income to those who are the super rich. Okay. And I wanted to try to get that groups together to understand each other and appreciate each other.
I see. So do you think you managed to accomplish what you wanted to do?
I truly believe that I've become a bridge of the old time, the 442nd, the 100th, that was the World War II, to today, being the bridge and helping the next generation to understand where your grandparents, where your parents came from. So my grandparents were in agriculture. My great-grandfather left the sugar plantations, and then he formed his own farming business in Kauai called Hanalei, and that's where we grew rice and taro. Yeah. So that's the kind of historical perspective that I can share with you of how Calvin Say meant know a little about agriculture.
I see.
Well, how about you? Do you do anything as far as agriculture? Do you plant anything in the backyard? Do you have a victory garden?
No, not at Hawaii at least, at my relative's place.
Well, that's where the students of KAIMUKÍ have to learn now to have a garden. And the reason why is to learn how to cultivate, how to grow agricultural crops that you could try to eat. Palolo Elementary has a program there now, which is part of the STEM program, the science, technology, engineering, and math. And there's other programs that we have. But the question is that for your generation, Jasmine's generation, Brandy, and so forth, the question will be sustainability. As the world population grows, we may have less and less food supply to feed all. So it's better to start thinking about growing your own.
What do you think you can do about the sustainability issue?
Sustainability, I'm looking forward to addressing how we can address climate change, global warming, coastal erosion, invasive species, and also trying to preserve our natural pristine forests that we have. When you go to the neighbor islands, when you go to Maui, Kauai, and the Big Island, and Oahu, how do you preserve that forest and not seeing that it be erosion or devastation as far as the cutting of the trees, such as ohia, that there was an invasive species or a fungus that is killing the ohia plans right now. Anything else you want to tell me, Andy? Anything?
Okay,
I have two sons, 34 and 33. I've got a beautiful wife who's working as a school teacher at the elementary level at Lanakila Elementary, 3rd grade. And I've got 2 doggies, 2 Pomeranians, because we don't have any daughters, so my wife wanted 2 dogs, so we got 2 dogs.
Well, sir, there's one last thing I want to address. Yes. Lately, over the internet, there's a lot of people saying about education reforms, and how they say that right now education isn't exactly as up to date as what technology is improving on. What do you think about it?
I would say you're absolutely correct. Technology is really outpacing education, but the question will be at some point in time that as students, do you want to be controlled by the internet? Would you like to be controlled by your tablet?
No, sir.
Would you like to be controlled by your iPhone and smartphone? I get very disturbed when I see some of our kids, having dinner at a restaurant and they're not even talking to their parents. They're just looking at the iPhone and the smartphone and communicating with their friends or playing a game. Are we losing that social side, that effective emotional side, meaning, Andy, let's have dinner, and then you come to the dinner table and we can talk like this rather than you're over there doing that and mom and dad is just eating. That's not fair. And then I don't get a chance to go into the classroom, but are they all playing with their iPhones and smartphones?
Most likely, yes.
So how are you listening to your teacher, your counselor? That's a big issue for me because we're losing sight of our own human being. And that's where I get a little worried because you've got to read that book, which I read in the 60s, or was it the 60s or 70s, Sanford? George Orwell, 1984. 1984, yeah. And that's what's happening. All of the world today. Somebody's watching us right now, taping us. Could be the Russians. Could be the Chinese. No one knows, as far as I don't know, but there may be satellites. And that's where I feel sad. But as Representative Say would say, the bottom line is that you are aware of what is happening. And you have to be cognizant of it. Cyber attacks, hacking on our, systems. So I had an interview by Facebook. They wanted me to join Facebook. And I said, I'm not going to join Facebook after you guys got hacked twice. Right? And then they know all of my personal.
It's all leaked.
Yeah. And they know who I am. I would love to know where all your classmates are living. Then I can just go to their home, go house to house and say, you came to my office, can you vote for me? Nah, I'm only kidding. But yeah, I'm concerned about what's happening. But technology is outpacing just regular education.
Thank you very much, Representative Say.
Thank you very much. And like I said earlier, I have a request for you. In 4 years, you want to replace me here in the State House, and I'll help you campaign. And then you'll be the youngest, may I say, 18 years old, runs for the State House. And don't be afraid or ashamed, because you have all of your classmates who will be strong supporters of you. And you have to have a dream, you have to have a vision and a cause of what you want to accomplish for the future generations. Okay, Andy, thank you very much for interviewing me.
Thank you.
Hope to see you again next year. Same time, same place. Aloha.
Okay, aloha.
Hello, my name is Jasmine, and I'm representing Olelo from the KAIMUKÍ Media Center, and this is...
I'm Scott Nishimoto.
Hello, and I'm going to be asking you some questions. So what committees are you in?
So I am on the Finance Committee. I'm on the Public Safety Committee and the Inter-Commerce Committee.
Okay, so can you tell me what each committees mean?
So Finance Committee does all the budget for the state. So all the schools, all the state hospitals, we budget for that. Public safety is prisons. Interstate commerce is kind of like consumer protection issues. But it's a wide range of different issues.
What is your job here?
Well, I'm a state representative, so I represent the Kapahulu Moiliili area. So I am the people's voice in the House for issues that we deal with.
What do you like about working here?
Best part is I get to work with people like yourself, to meet a lot of different people, and I get to advocate for the community. It's a community that I love, it's a community I grew up in, so it's very special to me.
I see. What is your what do you like about each one of your committees?
It's very different. They're all very different, but they all take a segment of our state and focus on that segment. And we can do a lot of good in each committee. But the Finance Committee is an overarching committee. It deals with the state budget. So that's really enjoyable because it has a hand in almost everything we do in Hawaii.
What state are you working on now?
What state?
Yeah.
It's state governments, the Hawaii state government. So.
You're working on now.
Yeah.
If you what are you working on right now, on changing?
Well, the main thing I always say is that the main thing we work on is the budget, right? Because it reflects our values in the legislature. So that's going to be the main thing I'm going to work on how we shape the budget, deciding how much money goes to each area. I'm sure you're interested in education, so how much money we give to public schools, and particularly for you, a Sikh student, would be charter schools, right?
Yeah. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Jasmine Bannerman representing Olelo, and thank you.
Hi, my name is Hoku Dennis. I'm from Sikhs Middle School, and today I'm with Olelo Community Media Center. This is Representative Mark Hashem.
Hello.
Hi. So what are your plans for this session?
This session, I'm on the housing, transportation, higher ed, and lower ed. So one of my main focus is teacher housing because I used to be the past chair of the housing committee, and now I'm on the vice chair of the lower ed. So I'm in the perfect position to be working in that.
So what do you plan to do in the teacher housing committee?
Well, what we're looking for is to build housing units for the hard-to-fill schools, that in the more rural areas where teachers don't really want to work there. So this will be an added incentive for people to go.
Okay, very cool. What other committees are you on?
I'm on transportation and housing. So.
Okay. What's the transportation committee doing?
Transportation mainly works on the harbors, the airports, the roads. That's the big thing. A lot of people, when they think about transportation, that it's just our highways and our roadways, but actually the airports come into play and the harbors are a big issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. This is Hoku. Thank you for listening.
Hello, I'm John David with Della. I am interviewing
Chen.
Chen. So, why did you come to this event today?
Well, I think it's important to celebrate the start of Leg and the house. So I'm here representing some of the medical cannabis dispensaries here that operate in the state of Hawaii. And we're here to make sure that we can meet with as many representatives and senators as possible to talk about the issues that our industry faces and our patients face.
Who are some of the people you came to see?
Are actually one representative from every single one of our licensees will be here today. So there's going to be 8 of us in total, and we're going to make our way around just talking to people, not only the people here, but our elected officials to talk about what's going to be on tap for this year's legislative session.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hoku Dennis. I'm from Seeks Middle School, and today I'm with Olelo Community Media. And I'm interviewing
Kobayashi, state representative, who graduated from KAIMUKÍ High School, where your charter school is located.
Very cool. So, what are you hoping to accomplish this session?
Well, my main concerns have to do with budget and money. So I've been focusing on that for many years. And the first thing, of course, is we need a balanced budget. And right now, the budget revenues looks like they're going on a downward trend. So that's worrisome.
What kinds of committees are you on?
I am on House Finance Committee, and then I serve on Health Committee and Human Services and Homeless Committee.
Okay.
So this is the first time in Hawaii history that the word homeless has appeared on a committee title to show the emphasis and priority now being given to homeless.
So what do you do on the Homeless Committee?
The Homeless Committee mainly does funding for various homeless programs. And so there are, well, I would say, at least 6 or 7 separate homeless programs, usually having to do with social services or health care. Aside from that, there is a group of issues having to do with housing of various types. So homelessness problems are generally divided into those two categories, housing related and then social service health related.
Cool. So on your door, I noticed that under your name it said you're the majority whip. Could you explain what that means?
Majority whip in this case is more or less a title that has functional duties only as assigned by House leadership. But hopefully we don't have to do too much whipping. That's a joke. But the idea is that we want to make sure that people are informed, that people are communicating with each other, and the people know what is up for vote and hopefully vote in the same way as the committee chairs.
Okay. What I also saw that you're the vice chair of the health committee. Could you tell me how your responsibilities, what your responsibilities are as the vice chair?
Well, mechanically, we simply help with the logistics of the committee and the testimony assembling, which could be hundreds of pages per public hearing. Also to help make suggestions and look at the bills in Health Committee, hopefully more carefully than the average person who is only a member.
Okay. For my last question, I wanted to know if you could be on any committee, which committee would you be on?
Well, that's a hard one. I would say Finance Committee, because Finance Committee handles all bills relating to money, including the state budget.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
This
you.
This is Hoku from Olelo signing off.
Hi, I'm Daniela. I'm here with Olelo. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Senator Brian Taniguchi from Manoa Makiki District.
What is your goal for this year?
Well, this year I'm the labor chair in the Senate, and so one of my goals would probably be to see if we can at least discuss a raise to the minimum wage.
What community are you on?
I'm sorry?
What committee are you on?
So I'm on Labor Committee. I'm also a chair of the Labor Committee. I'm also on the Ways and Means Committee, which is the Money Committee. And I'm also on Economic Development Committee.
So why you want to be a politician?
Why do I want to be a politician? Primarily because I get to help people when I do my work. And so that's the most important thing for me.
What do you like about this job?
I like being interviewed by students.
I don't know.
Well, I get to meet a lot of different types of people, and so that's interesting to me.
Do you support like sustainability?
I think most people support sustainability, so it's more like a matter of how much you do, and I guess we try to take a look at different aspects of what sustainability means. I think we're trying to grow more food here to make our food source more sustainable. Yeah, so that's one area. But other things like when we build buildings, we have to be sure that we're able to upkeep those buildings, because the cost of upkeeping the buildings over a period of time gets expensive. So, and that's not sustainable. You're gonna have to have money, many years from now to fix the buildings you built today. So, those kinds of things are all things that we keep in mind when we do things, and we do that under the principle of sustainability.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Jasuna Kinsey. I go to Seeks Middle School, and I'm with Allred Community Media. Today I'm going to be interviewing. Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Tom Brower, and I'm a State House member for the Waikiki District.
Hi, Representative Tom Brower. So what do you wish to accomplish this session?
I hope that the legislature can do a lot of great things for the people of Hawaii, and some of those big issues are going to be housing, affordable housing. It will be health issues for keeping people healthy and for having them live a long, fruitful life, and also education.
So what committees are you on?
I'm on the Judiciary Committee. We deal with a lot of bills that become law regarding the laws that govern the state and the city, as well as chairing the Housing Committee. So we talk about affordable housing and hoping that people can afford housing to live in for the rest of their lives. And I'm on transportation.
Cool. So what are some responsibilities of the chair of the Housing Committee?
Well, the chairs need to run committee hearings. They have to craft bills, and they have to produce good bills that could become law, having the governor sign them into law. But good legislators also have to listen to their community and find input for those bills. Hear the things that people want new laws to become.
Are there any challenges in being the chair of the Housing Committee?
There are a lot of challenges because a lot of people have different ideas. So what we try to do is we try to find the best ideas that we can all agree on and then craft that into a bill.
Cool. So it is to my understanding that you are the Assistant Majority Leader. What are some responsibilities of that role?
As the Assistant Majority Leader, I have to help those in leadership govern the House. So this includes having a number of meetings to bring people together to find solutions on bills, as well as smaller duties. There are certain training meetings that we have, but we have a number of legislators, and sometimes jokingly we say, legislators, it could be like herding cats. It's hard to get all the cats to come together and stick it out for that meeting and come to a consensus. But as someone who helps the members in leadership, I have to try to bring people together.
Cool. So as my final question, I saw that you like Star Wars. What's your favorite Star Wars character?
I sort of like the stormtroopers because I think they're sort of cool. But if we lived in the Star Wars universe, I would be fighting for the rebellion because I think they're doing the right thing, not the Empire.
Thank you for your time. This is Jasuna Kinsey interviewing Representative Tom Brower. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Annabelle Kinsey. I go to Seeks Middle School and I'm with Olelo Community Media. Today I'm at the Capitol with Youth Capital Commentary, and I'm with Majority Leader Della Belatti. Hi.
Thank you for having me. It's so wonderful that you're here.
What are some of your goals for this session?
So in the House, we really want to tackle the issue of cost of living. We know that the high cost of living is being driven by high healthcare costs, high energy costs, affordable housing costs. So we really have to tackle this in a comprehensive manner.
What are your thoughts on the government shutdown and how is it affecting your job?
You know, we have to look at the state finances very carefully, and we know that some of the funds may be in trouble. We get quite a bit of federal funds. So the more that the federal government doesn't function, we are concerned. We also are concerned for the thousands of families who are affected here. People are they're not getting paychecks, so they're going to start missing mortgage payments, and it just creates a real situation of uncertainty. So we're very concerned.
Are you aware of any bills that will help restrict single-use plastics other than the plastic bag ban?
Every year we have bills that address the environment, so I'm certain we'll see some. I don't know of any specifically yet, but I know that people are very concerned about the plastic garbage patch that's growing in the middle of the Pacific. We certainly have to address that issue. We might not be able to do a big thing on it, but we can look at ways we consume plastics, we use plastics. I think it's a broader conversation about recycling and the kinds of materials we use.
What are your thoughts on women's reproductive rights and free midwifery care?
So I think access to healthcare for women is very important. It's important to our rural communities, and it's important to having strong families. So we have to look carefully at how we're funding those services. That's a very good example of where the federal government helps to fund many of our family planning services, and so we need to make sure that the federal government gets back to work as well. But the state does have a role in ensuring that there's insurance mandates, as well as access to care, as well as qualified midwives who can take care of our mothers and young children.
So, as majority leader, how has your role changed since just being a representative?
So being a representative is a great privilege. It's also a 24/7 job. During the legislative session, it's 60 legislative days, so we typically work from now, mid-January, until early May. So we're discussing a lot of bills. There's lots of meetings and hearings. It can be a marathon session where we're working on lots of stuff, but it's important work, so I'm happy to do it.
Cool. Thank you so much. That's all the questions I have. This is Annabelle Kinsey with Olelo Media, and I'm with Majority Leader Della Belatti. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Andy, and I am from KAIMUKÍ High School representing Olelo. Today I am here with
Senator Les Ihara Jr.
So hello, Mr. Senator Ihara. What is your goal for this year today?
This year or today? This year, from today.
Yeah,
okay, I got it. 2019. I think it's an incredible, where we are in the development of our civil society with civic values. You folks learn about civic values and civic norms, and it's called trust and honesty and caring for others, those kinds of values. They're under attack nationally, and so what's happening is it's bubbling up from the bottom up, and from you folks, because people in our hearts, we know, it helps, it reminds us of what the good in us. And then in the legislature, we convert that into ways to solve problems and to address the problems that you folks see. It really, we want to include the whole community. So by you being here today helps to bring the youth voices into the Capitol. By the way, which is a no-bully zone.
I see. So exactly what do you want to do in the school system right now?
What I want to do in the school system is, well, what I'm doing is I'm partnering with the Department of Education in assisting the first of 3-year implementation of the state standards for social studies. The social studies kind of core was adopted a few years ago, and last fall, the Board of Education adopted the state standards so that every class and every grade level has its own standards of what to learn, grade by grade, in learning about civics and learning about your world, the world that you folks live in. And it is an approach, a revolutionary approach of education, where it's inquiry-based, so it moves by what you're interested in. And it is based on practical learning, so you hopefully have a lot of projects. And so I'm working with various organizations to build a network outside the community, outside the classroom, that you can go to learn things, and then identifying people in the community that you might be interested in inviting in. And in that interchange, that's how you learn. And it's not a rote memory anymore. It's really relationships and learning in relationships of creativity and thinking.
Hello, my name is Jasmine, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. What committees are you in?
What committees? Labor and the arts, one. This is my 33rd session, and I don't think I've ever been on the Hawaiian Affairs Committee. I don't think I've ever been on the Arts Committee. And, I've been on Human Services, but I co-chair and I also co-convene the Kupuna Caucus, which is a caucus that deals with senior citizen issues. I was going to say why I drew a blank is if you had to rank all the committees in the configuration of 3 committees, and it's the least popular, I got it.
Okay.
That's why I drew for a blank. But but it's perfect for me. Because it allows me to do a lot of the other work I was talking about.
What is your what do you like about working here?
Let's see. It's the best job around because I'm off 8 months of the year. Because we're only in session, and I've been full time for 32 years. I've worked full time. I've never had another job. And even when we were paying $17,000 a year the first few years. And my staff earned more than me for the longest time until maybe 6 years ago or something. But I have, and so legislature, it's easy, mostly technical stuff. And why I like it is because also during the interim I can work on broader in community issues where it involves not only the legislature, but we can't really fix anything. I mean, it really takes other sectors to partner with, and sometimes we think that the world buzzes around us, but really we live in the world, and sometimes that orientation, because the pressure comes on us, so you can get that feeling like you're the center of the world here, because it's only legislators can make these decisions, no one else in the entire state. And within the broad confines of the Constitution, you've learned about the Constitution, we're the only body that can bring things into existence. The executive branch implement only, and the judiciary branch just interprets. We're the only taxes, new programs, only we have those exclusive power. Now the governor can veto, but we're the exclusive power to do that. And I'm interested in, so this job helps me share, it helps me in many, many ways. It just gives me the time, and it's a good role, a good position to have in doing the work I'm doing.
Hello, I'm John David representing Olelo Media. I'm interviewing Del Kobayashi. Representative Kobayashi, would you like to share some things about your job?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Just about generally what I do, or?
Yeah, like that.
Sure. I'm a state representative, which is part of the Hawaii State Legislature. There's two chambers. They have what they call the Senate and the House. So I'm on the House side. There's 51 of us, 51 representatives that cover the entire state of Hawaii, every island. I represent the area called Manoa Valley, which also includes Punahou, parts of Mo'iliili, parts of the university area. And I just won my first election this past year, so I'm brand new at this. But we basically make the laws for the state of Hawaii. We meet, today is the first day of our legislative session. We meet once a year for about 3.5 months. And during that period, we consider the needs of the community in the state of Hawaii, and we come up with new laws or revisions to existing laws. And that's basically what I'm here to do.
What are some examples of some of the things you would be doing?
Sure. So there's a lot of things that we do for just to help people to get along. And one of the important issues we have for this year, to give you an example, is right now, if you have a job in Hawaii, the law is that they have to pay you at least $10 an hour, which if you do that every day for 8 hours, you won't have enough money to really live here in the state of Hawaii, given the rent and the food costs, transportation. So they, right now we're trying to set that at a higher level. So the target right now is $17 an hour, which is still really not enough for somebody to live on in this high cost state. But it's better than $10 and it's a start. So that's an example of what we do to help working people to survive here in Hawaii.
Why would you say the price living here would be so expensive?
The main thing is housing. The cost of housing is so high here in Hawaii compared to any place else in the United States and compared to our history. So when I was a child here in Hawaii, anybody who had a job, no matter how low paying it is, they bought a house. Houses, it's the way things should be. It's really your right to, if you grow up here, I believe, to be able to have a house if you have a job, one job. Now people need 2 jobs just to pay rent and forget about buying a house. And a lot of it has been that people invest in houses. So when you have extra money, people invest it. Sometimes they buy things like stocks or bonds, which are really appropriate things to invest in. But people in Hawaii decided years ago that they wanted to invest in life essentials like housing, and which takes the price much higher. So they might be happy that they had a good investment, but the unforeseen consequence is that their children and grandchildren can no longer live here because it's too expensive. So we need people to invest in things besides houses and to keep the price reasonable so we can all live here.
What are some of your goals this year?
So because I'm new, I really want to be supportive of some of the measures that some of my more senior colleagues here have been working on, including, I think you can guess, affordable housing is one of my important initiatives. And we have a lot of initiatives to build new housing that's affordable. And like I've been saying, we have lots of housing here. It's just not affordable for people to buy. So my effort would be focused more on trying to reduce the price of existing homes so that people can afford to buy it and we can all live.
My final question is, who is your favorite Batman?
My favorite Batman is probably a guy named Adam West. Adam West was Batman when I was your age. The original Batman show, and we didn't have ways to record our show, so it was on at 6:30 on a school night, and I had to rush home from my baseball practice or wherever I was because I wanted to see Adam West and Batman. It was my favorite show. But you probably haven't seen him, but that's my favorite Batman is Adam West.
Thank you for your time.
Sure.
This is John David with Olelo signing off.
Aloha, this is Zoe Globin with KAIMUKÍ, with Olelo at KAIMUKÍ Media Center. And today I will be interviewing Representative Scott Saiki. So what is your goal for 2019?
So we just started our legislative session today. We have a 60-day session which should end in early May. And one of our big topics this year is in the affordable housing area. We provided the state with about $500 million last year to help build more affordable rental units. And we want to make sure that the funds are being used to carry out that purpose.
What is your favorite part about being a representative?
It's really great to be able to work with the community, with students, with the schools. The Boys and Girls Club in McCully is a part of my district. So this is a great opportunity to work with different kinds of people.
Do you have a dream when you're working as a representative?
No, I think we just want to make sure that we just do the best job possible for everyone that we represent.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for the interview.
You're welcome. Thank you.